happy to be here today. If you don't know who I am Sinead, and I'm so excited because it is our first week in April, and April means it's almost Easter, and Easter is the best time of the year because it's chocolate, but also because a super important thing happened on Easter. And so what happened is Jesus came down and he died for us, which was the greatest act of humility, and he turned the world upside down. Now, I don't mean Australia is now in the Northern Hemisphere, but he turned our lives upside down in the way we live. And that is by humility. Does anyone know what humility is? Probably not, but that's okay. I'm here to tell you. Humility is putting other people's needs first, even if you think you deserve it. And we're going to look into that over the stories of the next few weeks and in different ways and how it can apply to our lives. So stick around, make sure you watch the Bible story today, and can't wait to see you another day. See ya!
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. And now for an amazing story, inspired by the book of Matthew, chapter 26, verses 36 through 56.
For months, the Jewish religious leaders had been plotting to silence Jesus.
He called us pretenders, snakes!
On the Sunday before Passover, Jesus entered Jerusalem to great cheers from the crowds.
Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord!
But even as the crowd swarmed in to see what Jesus would do and say, one of Jesus' closest followers, Judas, went to the religious leaders with a very sneaky plan.
What are you willing to give me if I deliver him over to you?
How about a cool 30 pieces of silver?
Jesus knew these plans, but he also knew that his mission was to face those who hated him and let them take him without defending himself. He prepared his closest friends for this during a Passover meal, and then afterwards led them out of the city toward the Mount of Olives. Judas had already left them.
In a little while, you will no longer see me. Then after a little while, you will see me. I came from the Father and entered the world. Now I am leaving the world and going back to the Father.
The air cooled as the evening darkened.
This very night, you will all turn away because of me.
Peter, the most outspoken of Jesus' friends, quickened his step and tightened his hand on the sword he was carrying.
All the others may turn away because of you, but I never will.
What I'm about to tell you is true. It will happen tonight. Before the rooster crows, you will say 3 times that you don't know me.
I may have to die with you, but I will never say I don't know you.
Me too. Same.
By the time Jesus and his friends reached the Garden of Gethsemane, they were exhausted.
Sit here while I go over there and pray.
As the other disciples settled in on the cold, rough ground, Jesus took Peter, James, and John along with him to a grove of ancient olive trees. The weight of what was coming pressed down on him.
My soul is very sad. I feel close to death. Stay here. Keep watch with me.
We're here for you.
We got this.
Prayers. The 3 friends found seats among the knotted tree roots, and Jesus went on a little further. Then suddenly, he fell down on the ground, face first into the dirt. Words poured out from deep inside.
My Father, if it is possible, take this cup of suffering away from me. But let what you want be done, not what I want.
After a short time, Jesus returned to his friends. They had all fallen into restless sleep. Jesus touched Peter's arm.
What? Huh? We're just praying.
Couldn't you men keep watch with me for 1 hour? Watch and pray. Then you won't fall into sin when you are tempted. The spirit is willing, but the body is weak.
We'll stay awake this time.
Got you covered.
Again, Jesus threw himself down to pray. His pain was so deep, blood and sweat beaded on his forehead.
My Father, is it possible for this cup to be taken away? But if I must drink it, may what you want be done.
Jesus returned to his friends once more to find them still sleeping. The agony in his spirit forced Jesus to lay his heart out to God once more. He prayed the desperate words again, begging God to take away what was coming, and at the same time, revealing his complete trust in God's plan.
Let what you want be done, not what I want.
At last, Jesus knew the time had come. He returned to find Peter, James, and John buried deep in sleep. Beyond them, his other followers slept too.
Are you still sleeping and resting?
The disciples struggled through a fog of sleep, blinking and yawning. Below them, torchlight showed an angry mob climbing up the hill. The men were waving swords and clubs, shouting as they came.
Look, the hour has come. The Son of Man is about to be handed over to sinners. Get up, let us go. Here comes the one who is handing me over to them.
Jesus' friends staggered to their feet, and Peter clutched his sword. As the mob marched closer, they could see the man in front of the mob. It was their friend Judas.
Judas? What are you doing?
The mob had been sent by the Jewish religious leaders. Judas had already explained to them that he would greet Jesus with a kiss, so they would know exactly which man to arrest.
Greetings, teacher.
Judas ignored the other disciples and went directly to Jesus, kissing him on the cheek in greeting. Jesus drew back and looked Judas directly in the face.
Friend, do what you came to do.
The mob surged forward as the disciples just stood there, frozen and confused. As men grabbed Jesus, Peter suddenly sprang to life, awkwardly drawing his sword.
Should we use our swords?
Peter didn't wait for an answer, but he struck out wildly. His blade sliced right through the ear of the high priest's servant.
Oh! Stop this!
Jesus touched the servant's ear. Immediately, he was healed.
Put your sword back in its place. Do you think I can't ask my Father for help? He would send an army of more than 70,000 angels right away. But then how would the scriptures come true? They say it must happen in this way.
Jesus turned back to the mob and the men who held him. They hovered there, uncertain, in the flickering light of their torches.
Am I leading a band of armed men against you? Do you have to come out with swords and clubs to capture me? Every day I sat in the temple courtyard teaching, and you didn't arrest me. But all this has happened so that the words of the prophets would come true.
No one could respond to Jesus. Instead, they arrested him and led him away. And his friends who said they'd be with him through anything ran away. Jesus made the choice that would bring life to everyone, but that would cost him everything.
Hey guys, so how cool was that story? Oh, there we go. And so every part of that story, Jesus was in the garden talking to God, and he realized he didn't really want to go ahead with it. However, he knew that it was part of God's bigger plan, and to humble himself, he would go forward and do God's plan because he knew it was better. And it's just like in our lives, Jesus put others first, and we should put others first. So it might mean if your brother or sister want to watch a TV show that you don't really want to watch, you can do that. Or if someone's in front of you in a line, you let them go in front of you. You take a step back and you put yourself behind the other people. It's like in our memory verse for this month, which is Philippians 2 verse 3, which is don't do anything only to get ahead. Don't do it because you are proud. Instead, be humble. Value others more than yourself. So I know it's not always going to be easy that we do things like that, but it's our plan and we should go put other people in front of us and put them in front of our needs. So I'm going to pray. So close your eyes and bow your heads. Dear Lord Heavenly Father, I just want to pray that you bring safety to everyone this coming week. I just want to pray that in this coming week you help us to see how we can put other people's needs first, because we want to honour them and make them feel loved and important. I just want to pray that you help us to do this in all circumstances this week. In your Son's precious name I pray. Amen. See you next week, kids.
Hey parents, we know that Easter feels a little bit upside down this year. It's certainly not what we were expecting. But no matter what our circumstances are, Easter is still worth celebrating. So we've put together an Easter package for you with a bunch of different resources you can choose to do. All of it or some of it, whatever suits you and your family. If you go to our website, there is an Easter family devotional, and that devotional goes for 8 days. So we recommend you start it this Sunday, the 5th of April. But you may like to squeeze it all into a couple of days. So as I said, it's up to you. We have an Easter hunt that helps you to share the Easter story with your family. We have a few videos going into our Warnbro Kids YouTube channel for both Good Friday and for Easter Sunday. And this one's probably my favourite. We are going to challenge you to go on a family camp out. You heard me. It may be in your backyard, it may be in your living room, but we want you guys to have a great time together this Easter. Whatever you decide to do, my prayer is that as a family, you can make some great memories and experience the joy that celebrating Jesus' life, death, and resurrection brings to all of us. So check out the resources and let us know if you need any help. We are praying for you and we love you. Have a great Easter.